last week on the program, you said to the world, Khabib is done. I
Yeah,
know my brother. He is done.
and we had a whole second line for Habib's career. You know what the second line is in New Orleans? The music and the dancing. They carried the casket.
Yes.
I mean, we had a second line. We were dancing, and then
3 days later, Dana White says, "Well, I've been talking to him, and I think he's coming back for number 30." What do you make of this? Do you have an update? Have you talked to Khabib?
the only thing I said to Habib was, "Brother, you have the shortest retirement in history. Like you retired for 3 days." He's like, "I said, brother, you retired for 3 days." But we didn't get much into it. We laughed about it a little bit, but you know what, man? I think that if you're Dana White, you're saying what you need to. Hope that that's what Habib wants to do. The thing is this, man. I take people for their word, and like I want Habib to feel comfortable talking to me, and I don't want him to feel like whenever we're talking, I'm trying to find things from my show.
I know it's a weird
right?
spot.
You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a balancing act, right? So it's like we have conversation that I don't want to always say, but like I think if you're Dana White in the UFC, you're hopeful that that's what Habib wants to do. But like I said last week, if Khabib Nurmagomedov gives his word, generally that's a fact. Now, would I be surprised with the economic impact that a fight that he could have would bring that would bring him back? No. I mean, and I would not judge him for that if he came back. He's 32 years old, for God's sake, and he can still beat everybody in the world. So, but there are things that if he says it's his word, I take him at that.
Can I ask you this? I don't want you to reveal, because I was thinking about that, especially when you told the story last week about him not going for the armbar against Gaethje, which by the way ended up blowing up and got this show everywhere. So I thank you for that, but I know that he's your friend too. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, I've had to deal with it with you over the years. Like you have told me things, and I don't reveal them on every show that I go on. So I respect that very much. Can I just ask? A week later, have you softened your stance? Like at this point, you still think he's done?
I still think, like I said, I know Habib as a man of his word, and I believe that if he says he's done, he's done. But like I said, Dana White knows more than I do.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not trying to talk to Habib in that way. We want to talk as friends.
Right.
I spoke to him about one of the guys from AKA being out in Dagestan training for a long time. I was like, when did he go? So we talked about that. We talked about our family. We talked about how life has been since he went home. Like that's it. Like that's the stuff that I want to talk to him about more than always how's the fight. Because guess what? For 8 years, we did that. A lot of our conversations centered around when's your next title defense or when's your next title defense. Now, it's easy. Two retired guys. I want to talk to him about golf. I was like, you golf? Like things like that.
Does he golf?
Actually, he didn't answer me.
Okay.
He never responded on the golf.
That would be interesting. But okay, so what about this? Dana White said they're not taking the belt away, that he's still the champ.
Now,
that's interesting,
smart.
Right?
I think that's smart, right?
Yeah.
I think that's smart, and that speaks to the value that Habib has. And not, again, it's so hard to discuss these things because you almost end up like insulting people when you don't want to. Henry Cejudo said he was done the same night they announced Piotr Jan was going to fight somebody for that title.
They're like, hey, Henry, get out of the way.
Are you sure? Hey, Henry, are you sure? Like, I mean, this is not. You don't do that to Khabib Nurmagomedov. You sit and hope. You wait. You sit and wait and hope. Like Dana said, he was very emotional, bro. You could see it. It all came out of him. So you sit and you wait and you hope that the stance changes and you do get that 30th fight.
The truth is, they don't have to make a decision right now. Heck, they don't even have to make a decision until January. Like the real time to make the decision.
You don't have to make a decision in January. You can wait. I think you can wait till next summer.
I'm saying if you want to make Conor versus Poirier or Conor's next fight for the belt, that's when you probably have to decide. And if that one isn't for the belt, you're probably not going to do it for another title fight for a year, right? Like you're probably just going to wait a year.
But reality is this though, right? With the way that things have gone, right, with the pandemic and everything, Khabib was going to fight in April, but he didn't fight until October. Nobody was yelling, take the belt from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got time in regards to Khabib Nurmagomedov. And if you want, I mean, if push comes to shove and he needs more time, create another interim title. And then he just beats the interim champion. Like, that's exactly what's happened the last couple times, right? As he was hurt, recovering a couple years ago, Dustin and Max fought for the interim championship. He fought Dustin, beat Dustin. This year, fight got canceled because of the pandemic. Tony and Justin fought for the interim title, he beat Justin. So like, if push comes to shove, and for me, everybody hates the interim championship, but for me, because Khabib's such a big star, when that guy becomes interim champ, Dustin Poirier, he made more money that night than he'll ever make because now he shares on the pay-per-view.
Yep.
Justin Gaethje made more money than he'll ever make because now he shares on the pay-per-view as a belt holder. So I'm all for it if they do that. Those guys are getting their money.
I just think it's hilarious how quickly they took the belt away from Henry and even John Jones.
We also all thought that was a negotiating ploy, right? Yeah. Like everybody thought that was a negotiating ploy for Henry, and nobody thought that's what Khabib Nurmagomedov was doing. Everybody thought, wow, we didn't see this coming, so this must be real, and I believe it is.
So now we're going to try to see what happens with, the lightweight. Like the whole week we're deciding, okay, is it going to be a tournament? Is it going to be this? Meanwhile, they're like, yeah, you can take all the time you want. We respect you. We respect your decision. We hope that you come back. And here we have Conor and Poirier getting ready to fight. And Conor says 155. So that is good news. Although Dana White told the media he thinks it's done. DC, I'm here to tell you it's not done. It's not signed. There are no bout agreements. I wonder if I think you said it last week. If I'm Poirier, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. They try to pull the switcheroo and do Conor versus Gaethje, right? And make that a number one contender fight or even an interim title fight, right? Because you said, yes.
Well, could you imagine, though? Could you imagine if McGregor gets a hold of the interim championship and now you go to Khabib and go, hey, October, Abu Dhabi, you McGregor again.
Oh, God.
Loads of money. Because now if you're Khabib, right, and you walked away, you could say, I want more.